Hare Krishna will start with the invocation prayers. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Sorry. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swa Padantikam Vande Om Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shivanusutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. So we welcome Ankur Prabhu, who was doing services with us last week at the temple. Welcome. Ankur Prabhu is also in the process of getting caught up on past recordings. So even though you are joining partway through, please feel free to ask any and all questions so that all doubts can be resolved. First thing, I'm going to share a couple of things in the chat. So first, I have a shell document for chapter 17 and 18. Print on a tabloid size 11 by 17 page in landscape. And it's 2 pages, so print both pages. This is chapter 17 and chapter 18 shell document. As holidays are coming up, many of you may have time off and time available at your hand. So to keep you occupied, I'm going to give you first is Sanskrit class and how to take darshan. So I posted this second also in the chat. You can please download. It's loading right now. Together with how to take darshan, I also attached PDF document from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 28, verses 13 to 33 on how to meditate on limbs of the Lord. So many of you have had this PDF before, but I am giving you together. And I will also give you another recording for Ekadashi. So you have a lot of documents and lectures to listen to. So everybody, please download. The 4th document is loading up now in the chat. So first I gave you chapter 17 and chapter 18 shell document. Print that document as holidays are coming up. Second, I gave you Sanskrit class plus how to take darshan. Then I gave you a PDF document from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.28.13 to 33 on meditate on the limbs of the Lord. And then I also gave you Ekadashi related class. So you can try your best to keep yourself occupied in Krishna conscious activities by listening to all these recordings and reading the relevant documents. Questions, comments, realizations so far? Those who will be listening to class recordings, you can please get these attachments from me or from Sumnima. All right. So we will continue our discussion on Bhagavad Gita chapter 16. The verses 1, 2, and 3, there are just few leftover qualities, the divine qualities we'll discuss. But first we'll begin with, you all had a very important spiritual endeavor to listen to a short lecture titled, What the Faults We See in Others, What Does That Tell Us About Ourselves? Everybody try to answer. What are your realizations from that short lecture? Quickly, please.
What we see in others is reflection of what inside us.
Very good. Rest of you, everybody.
Hi, Krishna. One point was mentioned that mind sees what is inside as present outside.
Yeah, very good. Rest of you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So one of the point was when we see someone else indulging in material enjoyment, we somewhere still have that lust and envy within us, and then that is why we get angry with them, and then we publicly condemn them.
Very good. Rest of you. So what are your realizations from this, Padma Kumar?
That thing, speck in a brother's eye, but I have a big log in my own eye.
Yeah, very good. Okay, what are your realizations on this very important short lecture? Was that an eye-opener lecture?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Prabhuji,
Subhash Prabhu, go ahead.
One point Prabhuji mentioned was like pause to check yourself before reacting to others.
Okay, very good. Parth Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, actually we are the cause of our material bondage, or we are to develop our divine characteristics, and that is the desire of the Krishna. Krishna wants that all should pray for divine quality.
All right. Somebody, what are your realizations from that short lecture? What are your action items from that short lecture? No action items?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. One thing which I can start doing is whenever I see some fault, I can, instead of criticizing the other person, I can first reflect that it because of that fault present in me that I'm like it's becoming visible to me outside.
Okay, very good. So, yeah, so next time you see somebody's faults, recognize that you are seeing your faults. Yeah, Abhishek Prabhu just correctly pointed out that my mind is showing me what is inside me just in a different way. So how do you avoid this? Somebody can think of a solution. Don't you need a solution to avoid this? The bhakti is too high level. Give me at a practical level for me. How do I resolve this, Shruti?
Pause before reacting. Pause for some time. Think.
Okay, yeah, you'll pause, but you still need something positive.
Yeah.
Hare
Yeah.
Krishna Prabhuji, can I?
Yeah, Ankur, go ahead.
Yes. Maybe the controlling the mind is important when we see such kind of things.
Okay.
Because instant reaction, sometimes we didn't think what exactly how to react. So I think the controlling the mind is very important at that time.
Matan Prabhu, unmute and speak your point.
I'm trying to say, instead of criticizing, look at the good quality that he has.
Okay, very good. Subhash?
I think Prabhuji with the Jnana Chaksu, like eyes of knowledge.
Yeah, well, what will you do with eyes of knowledge?
Like in Krishna has mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, like the divine qualities and the like transcendental qualities, and so that we can know others before reacting and like do accordingly.
Okay, very good. So what Madan Prabhu said is bang to the point, correct point, that try to see good qualities in others. So we discussed that every single living entity is born with both sets of qualities, divine as well as demoniac qualities. So even Duryodhana, he was completely demoniac, but he is also born with divine qualities. It's just that which quality or qualities are dominant. Some will have divine qualities dominant and some will have demoniac qualities as dominant. But still, everybody has both sets of qualities. So what you do is try to see the good in other person at all times. You can try Bhagavad Gita 3.26, where Krishna says, without disturbing the other person, the materialistic person, try to engage him in devotional service. So any new person you see, he will have some ability. Just try to use it in Krishna's service. Now, there will be occasions where it's very hard to find a good quality in somebody. There will be occasions like that. So in those situations, instead of identifying the bad quality, turn around and look in good quality in somebody else. The purpose of looking in good quality in others is that those good qualities will manifest in you. So if you cannot find a good quality in somebody, by not pointing out the bad quality, you are protecting yourself. And by turning around and finding some other person or some other devotee, you are forcefully moving towards looking at good quality. So it's a practice. I'm not saying from tomorrow you will be 100% perfect, but try. From this point on, try to look at good qualities in others. Even when you communicate with somebody via email or via messages or text messages. Try to find something good. We all are born with 4 defects. We all have significant defects. Just as Padma Kumar was properly saying, in my specs, I have problem. My eyes, I have problem. Therefore, I am looking everything bad. So try from this point on to look at good qualities in others. Everybody with me? Questions, comments, realizations? Everybody can practice?
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
All right. So we will discuss the few leftover qualities, the few leftover divine qualities from verses 1, 2, and 3. They're just few. We ran out of time at our last class. So the leftover quality, one is modesty. The word modesty used is in terms of dressing and how we live together. That one should not act in immodest, immoral, and undesirable ways. Next quality is achapalam, that one does not become restless. Rather, one stays focused and determined on the path of spirituality. Chapalam is like the mind, restless, going here and there every other moment. Another quality, cleanliness, is straightforward. There isn't anything to discuss. Next quality is non-envious. Shruti has a question. What does it mean to not act in undesirable ways? So undesirable, immoral, or causing violence to others, these are all undesirable qualities, all the negative qualities. We don't have to act according to negative qualities. We may have negative qualities, but we try to purify our negative qualities by first learning the desirable qualities and then acting according to desirable qualities. Shruti.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
So the next quality is non-envious. If others have more wealth, more power, and more prestige than me, meaning if I am in a particular varna and others are in different varnas, therefore they may have more opulences than me. Therefore, I don't have to be envious because I understand that this is the best way I can become purified. Ultimately, the world is a hospital, and the goal is to get cured. But if we see doctor is giving one medication to another patient and a different medication to me, I cannot take the medication of the other patient. I have my own disease. And my body is my own disease, and my body is how I have to purify myself. The point is not who gets what medicine. Rather, the point is that medicine should be appropriate, that what is required for me. Therefore, for a person with nature of Vaishya or Shudra, by doing his activity of Vaishya or Shudra, that person will become purified and liberated. And getting purified, liberated means getting discharged from the hospital. So if you get purified means you will get discharged from this material existence and go back to spiritual existence, just as we go back from hospital to our home. Therefore, we should not focus on that I got less, other person has more. No, we focus on what is appropriate for us according to our nature. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Dhruv Maharaj pastime in 4.8.34, Prabhupada has given the formula of how one can live in this world in a non-envious way. Prabhupada says in 4.8.34 that upon meeting a more qualified person, one should rejoice and not be envy. Upon meeting a less qualified person, one should feel compassion and not look down on the less qualified. Upon meeting an equally qualified person, one should be friendly and not be competitive. This way, one is never affected by the threefold miseries of material world. Questions, comments, realizations. Envy is a very important point, a very important anartha to get rid of. The next quality described is one does not demand respect. So we have discussed this point already while we were discussing humility in chapter 13, verses 8 to 12. Now here's a question for you. Now, when say somebody is giving a class, many come up and they praise the presenter. So how is giving a class not increasing my ego? So we already discussed that when you get praise, the ego gets pumped up. So how giving a class is not increasing my ego? Anybody remembers the discussion?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. By what is the word? By transferring it to our Guru Maharaj.
Okay, very good. Okay, Ria is also correct in the chat that pass on the praise to spiritual master and to Krishna. So we are also discussed earlier that how you can use praise to deflate your ego instead of inflating the ego. And I'll explain. So in spiritual life, when we get respect, yeah, we accept respect and pass it on to Guru Parampara and Krishna. But we do not demand respect. To accept respect means that if someone offers respect, because it is proper etiquette, proper Vaishnava etiquette, we accept and we pass it on. But we do not demand respect. Now we have discussed that what happens when you get respect. Well, I get pumped up. Look who I am. My ego gets pumped up. Now, obviously, ego getting pumped up is against spiritual progress. So, what do you do when you get praise? And His Grace Chaitanya Chandas explains this brilliantly, that when you get praise, how to deflate your ego instead of pumping your ego. He explains that important point is to recognize that this respect is not offered to me. I am just representing Guru and Krishna. And the respect is being offered to Guru and Krishna. Therefore, I should also offer respects to Guru and Krishna, who are present in the heart of the person offering respect. When we get praise, praise should deflate my ego instead of inflating my ego. That a serious devotee can use the praise to deflate the ego by the thought process and the action that I am so unworthy because I know my anarthas, but still Guru and Krishna are even using me also to serve Guru and Krishna. Krishna is so great that Krishna can use even an unworthy instrument like me in his service. So that the presenter getting praise is not just saying the above words just for the sake of saying that I am so unworthy. Therefore, the presenter getting praise should praise a good quality of the devotee who is praising the presenter, recognizing that there is Krishna within the devotee praising the presenter. So our dear Abhishek Prabhu had this direct experience a couple weeks or months back when he met our spiritual master, His Grace Vaishyadas Adhikari in Vrindavan. Abhishek Prabhu, you want to share your experience?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, are you talking about the recent experience which I shared?
Yeah, with my Guru Maharaj.
Oh, so when I asked him a question about what I should do,
Yeah. And
so
what did he first asked you what you are doing, and then what did he do?
so um, uh, uh, when I asked him if to tell me something which I might be overlooking in my spiritual life, he first said that because he doesn't know me, it's difficult to give a personal advice. But then he asked me what I'm doing, like if I'm chanting. And then when I told him that I'm chanting 16 rounds daily, he was very happy. Uh, and then he said like if I'm following all the basic principles, then he told me to um, find a guru and take initiation. And then I asked him how should we look for a guru, and he told me that um, when you're hearing classes, if you find something inspirational from something, then a class, then it's a good sign.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Right. So my Guru Maharaj's Pranami mantra also has this Anandina, the word Anandina, that you don't look at negative qualities in others. And my spiritual master has this quality that he will always look at the positive in others and give some positive feedback. Although my Guru Maharaj already told Abhishek Prabhu, I don't know you. So he just inquired in brief on basic principles, and he still gave him advice and was happy with what he was doing. He's praising this way. Very good that you are doing, continue. And then he is encouraging that find a guru, get initiation, and continue what you are doing. Everybody on the same page? So next time you get praise, what are you going to do? Nobody?
We try to look good quality in others.
Okay. Shruti?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, to remember that I am not the doer and pay respect to the spiritual master and Krishna.
Okay, very good. All right, so we have completed the 26 divine quality. We discussed many of them in detail. And now from verse number 4 onwards, Krishna will describe demoniac qualities. Parth Pratyush Prabhus.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So we discussed how do we react when someone praises us or respects us. How should we react when someone disrespects us?
So we discussed last time that when somebody disrespects us or looks at a negative quality in us, you take a humble position that say, thank you for pointing out my mistake. I actually have many more anarthas. You found out one. Now please also give me a solution. How do I resolve this anartha? Pratyush?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
All right. So we will read from verse number 4 onwards, where demoniac qualities and activities will be discussed in rest of the chapter. Diksha, chapter 16, verse number 4, translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Chapter 16, text number 4. Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demoniac nature, O son of Partha.
So first is damba, pride. Pride is where one does not have good qualities, but one wants to show off that I have good qualities, and one wants credit for that, although the credit does not belong to him. Then next is darpa, is arrogance. Arrogance is where one may have good qualities, but one wants to show off one's good qualities. Then abhiman means conceit. Conceit refers to where one wants when one wants respect. Next is the qualities of krodh and paurusya. They are similar. Krodh is anger, and paurusya is anger expressed through speech or harshness. Say somebody uses insensitive, hurting, sarcastic speech. All this is paurusya. These are qualities of demoniac. Now, if you go back to the divine qualities in verse number 2, one of the quality is mardvam, means gentleness. Characteristics of godly person is gentle speech, while qualities or characteristics of demoniac is paurusya, means harsh, sarcastic speech. So materialistic people, they use taunt or sarcastic speech and they use ugly words, they use swear words, foul words, all these are so common among materialistic people. And they think that the more such nasty words they use, it is cool. It is not cool. It's a sign of being a fool. The way we speak is the way we think, and that is the way our culture gets shaped, our nature gets shaped. Harsh speech is characteristics of demoniac person. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada describes the royal road to hell is described. Prabhupada has used quite a graphic language by calling royal road. Now, why royal road? So generally, royal road is something celebrated and glorified. Because the demoniac go proudly on this road, meaning demoniac are so proud of being harsh and arrogant that they are proud of these things. Therefore, Prabhupada is using a graphic language that these people are on royal road to hell. When anybody uses sarcastic or taunting speech or harsh speech, no, we should be gentle. So Ria has a question in the chat that how should we respond to harsh speech instead of not getting triggered? So in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, the first 7 chapters on Daksha Yajna, Shiva has given us the perfect solution. Shiva is the greatest Vaishnava. He was being chastised and cursed by Daksha for no fault of Shiva. And then Shiva's followers and then Daksha's followers started cursing and counter-cursing each other. What is taught by Shiva is Shiva just stood up and left that place. Now, every time it may not be possible to leave. If it is possible to leave that place, just leave. You don't need to respond. Just leave. Come back in a calm environment when somebody is ready to listen. Because when somebody is using harsh and sarcastic language, they are already slightly agitated. And if you respond or try to defend yourself, well, it's going to agitate him all the more. So if it is possible to leave, just leave. Or if it is not possible to leave, then don't respond at that moment. Just try to remember Krishna. Try to remember 16.21. Try to remember these chapter 16 qualities that this person is in so and so demoniac quality. Because the person using sarcastic speech may be in a position of power. We may not be able to leave. So don't respond. You can say, I will respond to you later, so that you do whatever is required to calm down the situation first. Priya?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes. Thank you.
Or Pratyush?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, on the same point, my question is: suppose we are at a workplace in a work environment, and one of our friends or whatever, they make a sarcastic remark or something, which was clearly aimed at degrading you, of course. So my question is, if we let that slide and if we let that disrespect go unanswered, will it not set a precedent where they will test our boundaries one more time? So how do we establish firm boundaries?
So at workplace, be functionally present. You do not need to make friends at your workplace with materialistic people. When you are there only there for your required function, then somebody comes and talks to you, gossip. You say, excuse me, I am busy right now. You can create a boundary that way, that Pratyush is not interested in gossip. That's the first boundary you have to set. That way, there is no chance of somebody having a friendly chit chat leading to that sarcastic comment. Why are you having friends with materialistic people? We'll soon discuss in Nectar of Instruction, text number 2 and 3. Text number 2 describes 6 items that are harmful for bhakti, and text number 3 describes 6 items that are favorable for bhakti. And this avoiding materialistic association is a very key point in Nectar of Instruction, that if you want to progress on the path of spirituality, then you have to avoid materialistic association. Does not mean we stop working. No, we are there at workplace for our functional need. So somebody comes and talks to you for function, there is no chance of harsh language there, or at least in an respectful workplace. All workplaces have respectful policy for work related. There is less to no chance of sarcastic or harsh language. So first, you have to create a wall that you are there for your functional need. You are not interested in gossip. You are not interested in nonsense talk. And if at all there is a provoking situation, first you practice that your anger is in control. First, you remember all this. The discussion we have had in chapter 13, verses 8 to 12, we read 16.21, and the conversation we are going to have in this chapter 16, that normally when somebody chastises me, I react in an instant or less than an instant. Well, that's the first thing we have to change for ourselves. That I don't need to react. I need to first act by first thinking. Be in the mode of goodness. Don't just react like a person in passion. So, does not mean you let people in the material world come and slap you. No, just because you are a devotee, reading and practicing Bhagavad Gita does not mean you let anyone and everyone trample you. No, create your boundaries, that you are at the workplace for your functional need, not for gossip. And even if that situation happens, you respond by not becoming angry, and where it is possible to let a senior handle it rather than you handling it. Pratyush, now I'm only giving you generic answer because According to time, place, and circumstance, it will vary. So I can only give you a generic answer right now. Pratyush.
Understood, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Subhash Prabhu will read verse number 5 translation. Diksha has a question.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in addition to this question, since we would be in the workplace for functional need only, Prabhuji, sometimes we see people doing wrong. So how do we deal with that?
Doing wrong as in to you or to somebody else?
No, like in general, let's say they're doing something wrong.
So you have to judge whether you have the responsibility and the capability to stop that person. Instead of taking it in your hands so that you are not the doer, you are not in 327, you can highlight it to your manager. Now understand that there are two sides to this. When you say somebody is doing wrong, it's possible that that person may have been given a particular task. On the surface looks wrong, but I don't know all the details. So don't assume that whatever comes to your mind is right or wrong. Don't assume it right or wrong. Therefore, highlight it to the manager saying, I'm seeing this, what is going on? And the manager may say, no, I know what is going on. I told that person to do so and so. Or the manager would say, no, that is wrong. I will address it. So you don't be the doer. Yes, you can highlight. I'm not saying don't highlight. Just don't take it in your hands because you don't know the whole story. Diksha?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, what if I'm the only one who knows what exactly is going behind the curtain? Also because the person communicated it with me. In that situation, how do I
Step
deal
number
with it?
Step number one for you, Diksha, is delete all your materialistic contacts. Stop communicating with materialistic people. Material world is a place of misery. Nobody communicates to me that they are doing something wrong. Why is somebody communicating to you? Because you are entertaining that. So the first step for you is to delete all your material contacts. And Nectar of Instruction gives a simple solution. Text number 2, it says avoid materialistic association. Text number 3 says sadhu sangha is how you avoid material association. So I'll explain this in Nectar of Devotion, that in one of the lecture that you will hear for Nectar of Devotion from Prabhupada, Prabhupada is reciting Nectar of Instruction text number 2 verse where it says Sangatyaga. The third line in text number 2 is Sangatyaga, means avoid material association. But when Prabhupada is reciting Nectar of Instruction text number 2 in the lecture, instead of Sangatyaga, Prabhupada is reciting Sadhu Sangha. Why? Because Prabhupada is giving the solution that by Sadhu Sangha, you avoid materialistic association. So Diksha, you tell me, why is somebody telling you that they are going to do something wrong?
Prabhuji, because we both had to organize an event.
Okay. Yeah, so you organize an event. Don't get into gossip. So I already explained that at workplace, be there for the function. Set boundaries, just as I was explaining to Pratyush Prabhu. Set boundaries. I am there for workplace work, that's it. At my workplace, I also work like all of you, 9 to 5. I'm also an accountant. But nobody comes to gossip with me. Nobody. They all go very frequently after work for some bar or something sports related or whatever. On day one, yes, they asked me, but now they don't even ask me because they know I am not interested in gossip. Yeah, I do function with every single one of them. I interact with every single one of my colleagues. But it's only for work related, not to gossip. So that's the first boundary you have to set. Otherwise, material world is a place of misery. Diksha?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Subhash Prabhu, verse number 5 translation. Sumnima, verse 5.
Hare Krishna, verse 5 translation. The transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demonic qualities make for bondage. Do not worry, O son of Pandu, for you are born with the divine qualities. Hare Krishna.
So Arjuna is thinking, how does this apply to me? When a doctor describes certain condition, naturally we hear it with concern that these are the characteristics or symptoms relevant to me. So how do they apply to me? So Kshatriyas also speak harshly to one another. Therefore, Arjuna is thinking that I have to fight a war, I will speak harshly. So do I have demoniac qualities? And therefore, looking at Arjuna, so Arjuna is already saying this, not verbally, but through his body language. Therefore, Krishna said in the last line that, oh, son of Pandu, don't worry. You are born with divine qualities. So Krishna says, no, Arjuna, you are not demoniac. So first Krishna describes that if one lives according to divine nature, it will lead to liberation. And if one lives according to demoniac nature, that will lead to bondage. Therefore, Arjuna is thinking whether he will have to stay in bondage. Therefore, Krishna already says, don't worry, you are born with divine qualities. Why divine? Because for a Kshatriya to fight a Dharma Yudh, that is not demoniac, it is divine. It is essential. Otherwise, how will order be maintained in the society? So Krishna says he himself comes to re-establish Dharma, and he also has to do some violence to remove the demoniac people. So violence in on itself is not bad, but unwarranted violence is bad. So Abhishek Prabhu has a question in the chat that in workplace, we try to be friendly so we can help them spiritually, but this also breaks being functionally present, and then we may also get affected by them, like situations present by other devotees. So I will tell you that at my previous department where I was still functionally present, but almost entire department had a Bhagavad Gita from me. Almost entire department. There were 2 or 3 of them who said no. So I didn't force them. So you don't need to be associating with them. We have discussed association means when you exchange emotions. You can be friendly, but you don't have to exchange emotions. You can be friendly and help on the spiritual path, but you don't have to get involved at emotional level. That's when the boundaries are broken. Abhishek Prabhu, does that help you?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
All right. Malti, verse number 6 translation.
Hare Krishna. Text 6. O son of Pritha, in this world there are two kinds of created beings. One is called the divine and the other demoniac. I have already explained it to you at length, the divine qualities. Now hear from me the demoniac. Hare Krishna.
Now, Krishna says there are two kinds of people, divine and demoniac. And we may wonder, Krishna says, I have described divine qualities at great length, and now I will describe demoniac. So we may wonder that in chapter 16, there are only the first 3 verses that are on divine qualities, and rest of the chapter, almost the rest of entire chapter is on demoniac nature. So as compared to length of verses on demoniac, the description of divine is very short. So why is Krishna using the word that I have described divine qualities at great length? Anybody? Although we discussed this already earlier, don't know if somebody will remember. Anybody can think of the answer or remember what we discussed earlier? Nobody?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, go ahead, Prabhu. You already had answered at the last class.
So there are already descriptions of divine qualities earlier presented, in maybe little different context, like in chapter 12 and other places.
Yeah, very good. So Abhishek Prabhu himself had pointed this out last class, maybe a couple class back, about the comparison of these divine qualities throughout Bhagavad Gita. So I will give you a laundry list of places where Krishna has described divine qualities. And therefore, Krishna is saying here in chapter 16 that I have described divine qualities at great length. So in chapter 2, verses 54 to 72, the characteristics of Sthita Prajna are given. Sthita Prajna is elevated Krishna conscious devotee. In chapter 3, verse number 20 and few verses there, Krishna has described kings like Janaka and others who live with detachment. In chapter 4, verses 19 to 23, Krishna has described how Nishkam Karma Yogi acts. In chapters 5 and 6, there are few verses describing good qualities. Sorry. In chapter 10, verses 4 and 5, Krishna has described a laundry list of godly qualities, the qualities that come from Krishna. In chapter 12, verses 13 to 20, Krishna has described the qualities of a devotee that endears the devotee to Krishna. In chapter 13, verses 8 to 12, Krishna has described qualities of those in knowledge. In chapter 14, Krishna has described qualities of those in goodness and those who have transcended the modes. Therefore, here in chapter 16, after describing divine qualities in 1, 2, and 3 verses, Krishna is saying that I have described godly qualities in great detail, which includes the previous chapters also. And now Krishna will describe demoniac qualities. Everybody with me? Questions, comments, realizations? Shruti will read verse number 7 translation. So this is behavior of demoniac people.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them.
Pravartim cha, nivrittim cha. Very well known statement. So these are the behavior of demoniac people. Pravarti means activities to accept, and nivritti means activities to reject. Krishna consciousness is teaching both these, pravarti and nivritti. Pravarti examples are wake up early for Mangalarti, regulate your sleeping and eating, etc. Nivritti examples are follow 4 regulative principles, means don't do these. Therefore, pravrti and nivritti, scriptures tell us certain do's and don'ts. Demoniac people, they do not care for these do's and don'ts. Due to mode of ignorance, they act in ungodly manner, which are anti-scriptural ways. This influence can be corrected, and this will get explained in the last 2 verses of chapter 16, 23, 24. Specifically in 24, it will say Shastra Paramam, that act according to scripture. So here in 16.7, Krishna is saying that there are actions of demoniac which are not in accordance with scriptures. Scriptures are manual for living life in the material world as a soul. So if I don't use the manual, then I underutilize the gadget being the body, or even I may misuse the gadget, may cause destruction to the gadget, means may cause destruction to my body. Devotees of Krishna are divine. Those who are opposing Krishna and Vishnu, they are demoniac. Now, since Krishna and Vishnu is not visible to me, what am I opposing? Or who am I opposing? Can somebody think of?
Those who are like, I have 2 thoughts. One, those who are preaching their glories, or then those who are also trying to show these qualities to us, because I don't want them, so I oppose them.
Okay. So my question is, Krishna is not visible to me. So what am I opposing, or whom am I opposing? Somebody?
Hare Krishna, teachings of Bhagavad Gita, teachings of Krishna.
Very good. So what Abhishek Prabhu said was not incorrect, but a very specific answer. Monarch Prabhu is bang to the point, correct? That when Krishna was present, those who opposed him are demoniac. And those who oppose the words of Krishna, meaning going against the instructions of, say, Bhagavad Gita, they are also demoniac. So demoniac is not that the person has horns and tails, scary and ugly looking face. No. Yeah, all these are stereotype characteristics of demon. They are also demons. But demons are not necessarily those who just have horns and tails. So who is a demon? Demon is more of a mentality. Duryodhan may not have a body like a demon, but Duryodhan had demoniac mentality. Therefore, there is divine mentality and demoniac mentality. Therefore, the chapter 16 is titled Divine and Demoniac Nature. Questions, comments, realizations? Shreyanshi, verse 8 translation.
They say that this world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust.
So, Krishna is describing the mentality of demoniac. There will be some overlap between behavior, activity, and mentality. So we discuss at the start of chapter 16 that demoniac is not just with one who has horns and tails. Rather, demoniac is a mentality. Therefore, be cautious with whom we associate and by whom we get influence. So the verses we'll now be discussing identify such demoniac nature. So here in verse number 8, the demoniacs say that this world is unreal without foundation. And generally this refers to Mayavadis also. So we'll go to the verse number 8 purport. Prabhupada explains very important point. Ria will read. Halfway through, it starts just as in a dream.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah. Purport, text 8. Just as in a dream, we may create so many things which actually have no existence. So when we are awake, we shall see that everything is simply a dream. But factually, although the demons say that life is a dream, they are very expert in enjoying this dream. And so instead of acquiring knowledge, they may become more and more implicated in their dreamland. They conclude that as a child is simply the result of sexual intercourse between man and woman, this world is born without any soul. For them, it is only a combination of matter that has produced the living entities, and there is no question of the existence of the soul. As many living creatures come out from perspiration and from a dead body without any cause, the whole living world has come out of the material combinations of the cosmic manifestation. Therefore, material nature is the cause of this manifestation, and there is no other cause. They do not believe in the words of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sachara Charam. Under my direction, the whole material world is moving. In other words, among the demons, there is no perfect knowledge of the creation of the world. Every one of them has some particular theory of his own. According to them, one interpretation of the scriptures is as good as another, for they do not believe in a standard understanding of the scriptural injunction. Hare Krishna.
So Prabhupada says, although demons say that this world is a dream, but they are very expert in enjoying this dream. Arey Baba, if world is false, then why do you want to get more and more entangled in the world? Rather, we should try to disentangle ourselves from the world. Therefore, this is double standards in their philosophy and their actions. If the world is unreal, then one should come out of this unreal world. Why are we engaging in desires and expanding our desires and doing activities that increase our engagement in that dream? Now, a very obvious question is this world a dream or is it real? The answer is world is real, but why the world is called as unreal or as dream is because it's temporary. The world is real, but it's temporary. It has a beginning and end. Just as a dream is temporary, it should not be taken seriously. Similarly, this world is temporary and this should not be taken seriously. Questions, comments, realizations?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, when you mentioned that identify demoniac natures, does it conflict with not seeing bad quality in others?
So, I will give you a practical example. I've given this before. I'll repeat. So, at my current workplace, when I started in this department on day one, everybody told me that this one particular colleague is very nice. Every single one of them. Why? Because I had to work with this colleague from day one. So every single colleague of mine told me, Rajesh, you are lucky you are working with this. This is a very nice colleague. All right. So I accepted their statements on face value. But then when I was working with this colleague, for no apparent reason, the colleague was actually a backstabber. That in a password protected massive Excel document, which has massive amounts of formulas built in for making payments. Well, if you alter a formula, the payment will change. Now, I and this colleague are the only two who are supposed to know the formula because it's a password protected formula. So now I'm not talking of a small Excel. At my workplace, in my cubicle, I'm not glorifying myself, but outside my cubicle, it says Excels in Excel. So I really excel in Excel. So I create massive database in Excel, which has like thousands of columns and thousands of rows, which has linked formulas and output coming out. So if somebody goes and changes one formula, I'm not going to recognize that one particular person goes and changes this formula. Now, being a strong accountant, I also had built-in controls that if somebody goes and changes a particular formula, because of my controls, I will recognize that something is wrong. So because I had this built-in control, I recognize that this particular individual deliberately edited just one formula in one cell. Imagine a jungle of 1,000 by 1,000 cells spreadsheet, and somewhere in the middle, you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. But I had built-in controls that this person did not recognize. So when all staff told me that this is a very nice person, I said, okay, thank you. But when the actions didn't match the words, well, then I looked through the Shastra Chakshu, means I looked through the eyes of scriptures, and I said, everybody is telling this person as the greatest person, but according to scripture, this person is a demoniac person. So it's not that I was looking for good or bad qualities up front. It was an action, meaning a wrong action, that prompted me to be cautious from this person. So I didn't hate that person. That person actually still sits next to my cubicle. But I had to put a stop to this. So I had to highlight this to my manager. Now, my manager is also a feminist, and this person is also a female. So I had doubts, but I had to stop exactly what Pratyush Prabhu was asking earlier. I had to stop this. Otherwise, this person will keep on going, making uh, un, uh, unwarranted edits and making wrong payments. So my manager, although she's a feminist little bit, she still went and told this person to stop doing what she was doing. Although I was brand new in the office. But I had proof, right? I showed that she's the only one having the password protected, the password. She's the only one having the ability to go and edit one particular cell. But my manager also recognized that I am very strong accountant, that I had built-in controls that even though somebody went and edited one, it still came out as a red flag. So the manager was happy about the 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 Excel that I had prepared, and was also happy that I brought it to her attention rather than me taking action against this employee. So going back to Abhishek's point and Pratyush's earlier point and Diksha's earlier point, I could have simply went to this colleague and say, hey, why are you doing this? I did not do that, although I had proof. Right? I chose not to be the doer. I did not look at bad qualities. It was an action, right? A negative action that I had to act upon and stop. I highlighted it to my manager, and my manager took action for that. Abhishek, Diksha, Pratyush, does that help you, everybody?
Yes, Babuji.
Abhishek?
Thank you for sharing this example, Puri. I was just thinking that this point we hear that to hate the sin, not the sinner, is something to be practiced takes their time. When we see a sin but not have
Correct.
negative
Correct.
qualities towards
Yeah, yeah. Very good, very good point Abhishek Prabhu is making, that I have nothing wrong against that colleague. That colleague still sits absolutely next to me. I still talk to her nicely. Yeah, I don't have that same interaction as before. But that colleague also did not do anything wrong to me afterwards, because she knew I was very strong in having strong control. So I set a boundary there, right? From the very start, I set a boundary. So what was I doing? I was using Shastra Chakshu. What was every other colleague doing? They were following like what we discussed in Bhagavad Gita chapter 1, that they were getting influenced by the political speech of Duryodhan. That's how every other colleague was influenced by this person. And when that negative action happened, that's what I highlighted, not the person. Said this negative action has to stop. Therefore, Abhishek Prabhu is bang to the point, correct, that focus on the sin, not the sinner. Thank you, Abhishek Prabhu. That's very nice. Everybody on the same page? Questions, comments, realizations?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I have a small question. Just I want to clear it. You told just a few minutes back that our world is temporary, so don't take it very seriously. Can you Can you tell me the details about?
So when you dream something, next morning when you wake up, what do you do about the dream? No matter how good or bad the dream is. Take, for example, a good dream. What do you do about the dream?
I used to forget after some time.
Exactly. So material world is also temporary. Don't make plans to live here permanently. Rather, this body is a bad bargain. Still, it is capable of taking you back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, use the bad bargain in the best possible way to purify yourself so that you can go back home, back to Godhead. Rather than making plans, so I will have a big bungalow, a BMW car, so much bank balance. No, just work just about enough to keep the body and soul together and focus rest of the time on spirituality. Part Prabhu.
All right, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Mansi will read verse number 9 translation.
Yes, Professor. Hare Krishna. Chapter 16, text 9. Following such conclusions, the demoniac, who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence, engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. Hare Krishna.
So they do have material intelligence, but their intelligence is used incorrectly. We'll soon read in the purport. Prabhupada explains that people who live in villages, say in India, if you go to a village, they live very happily. They they don't know anything about the world. They don't know internet. They don't know cell phone, etc. They have one cow, a little farm. They grow their vegetables. They milk the cow for their milk, and they live happily. But when one of the family members goes to the city, he uses his intelligence to build nuclear weapons. Well, what good was that education? That yes, you have intelligence, but you are using it incorrectly. Monarch 9 purport, Prabhupada explains this point.
Hare Krishna, text 9 purport. The demoniac are engaged in activities that will lead the world to destruction. The Lord states here that they are less intelligent. The materialists who have no concept of God think that they are advancing, but according to Bhagavad Gita, they are unintelligent and devoid of all sense. They try to enjoy this material world to the utmost limit and therefore always engage in investing something for sense gratification. Such materialistic inventions are considered to be advancement of human civilization, but the result is that people grow more and more violent and more cruel, cruel to animals and cruel to other human beings. They have no idea how to behave toward one another. Animal killing is very prominent amongst demoniac people. Such people are considered the enemies of the world because ultimately they will invest or create something which will bring destruction to all. Indirectly, this verse anticipate the invention of nuclear weapons, of which the whole world is today very proud. At any moment, war may take place, and these atomic weapons may create havoc. Such things are created solely for the destruction of the world, and this is indicated here. Due to godlessness, such weapons are invented in human society. They are not meant for the peace and prosperity of the world. Hare Krishna.
Right, so Prabhupada says that he talks about weapons, that human intelligence should be used to do benefit to other living beings. But here instead, human intelligence is used to make such weapons. I mean, if you just think about it, the amount of weapons on earth, can destroy the entire earth several times. I mean, after the first time, the second count of weapons, why did you need more than that? You already have weapons to destroy the entire earth once. Why do you need to create more? Right now, the amount of weapons on earth, the earth can be destroyed several times. The demoniac create all such weapons. Human intelligence should be used to do good to others, not harm to others. Unfortunately, the best human intelligence is being used for such harmful things. I mean, if you think about it, all those who created atomic bombs and nuclear weapons, they are real intelligent people. But what are they using their intelligence for? That's what Prabhupada is condemning. All right, so now section 2, verses 10 to 18, title is Activities of Demoniac, meaning sense gratification, wealth are the primary focus of demoniac people. Raksha, verse number 10 translation.
Hare Krishna. Taking shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in the conceit of pride, false prestige, the demoniac thus illusioned are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. Hare Krishna.
So, kama can refer to lust as well as kama can refer to desires. So, kama is there in everyone. But the demoniac are taking shelter of kama. Civilized way to purify lust is through marriage. But they are taking shelter of kama. They think that through kama, they will solve all their problems. Devotees understand that there is no problem so big that Krishna cannot solve it. But demoniac and godless people think that there is no problem that sex cannot solve it. People think fulfilling lust is the goal of life. Therefore, they are filled with arrogance, pride, and prestige. And acharyas talk about sex as well as subtle sex. Subtle sex is the desire to be respected. Raksha, 10 purport.
Yes, Prabhuji. The demoniac mentality is described here. The demons have no insatiation for their lust. They will go on increasing and increasing their insatiable desires for material enjoyment. Although they are always full of anxieties on account of accepting non-permanent things, they will still continue to engage in such activities out of illusion. They have no knowledge and cannot tell that they are heading the wrong way. Accepting non-permanent things, such demoniac people create their own god, create their own hymns, and chant accordingly. The result is that they become more and more attracted to two things: sex enjoyment and accumulation of material wealth. The word Asuchi Brata, unclean vows, is very significant in this connection. Such demoniac people are only attracted by wine, women, gambling, and meat eating. Those are their Asuchi, unclean habits. Induced by pride and false prestige, they create some principles of religion which are not approved by the Vedic injunctions. Although such demoniac people are most abominable in the world, by artificial means the world creates a false honor for them. Although they are gliding towards hell, they consider themselves very much advanced. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, one question. So, like people these days, they're making so many vision boards and wish list, and they're trying to like make people more ambitious. So, are they do they also fall in this category? Because in a way, like they are also like trying to create lust by asking people to think more.
So we'll discuss this in nectar of instruction. That this advertising industry is a desire manufacturing industry. The advertising industry compels you to buy something that they will tell you that you cannot live without, although you don't need that product to begin with. So we have to live a simple life and a life of high thinking. In next of instruction, text number 2, the very first line in the purport, Prabhupada explains simple living and high thinking. But most people in the material world simply live and hardly think. So making ambitious and all these desires related to body, well, they are bodily concept. We don't need to get attracted with that. We have discussed in chapter 2 that whatever we see, whatever we hear, we have to see through the eyes of scriptures. Is this necessary? Is this taking me towards Krishna? Then I will do it, otherwise not. Shreyanshi?
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Follow me, 11 and 12 translation.
Hare Krishna. Text 11 and 12 translation. They believe that to gratify the senses is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, until the end of life, their anxiety is immeasurable, bound by a network of hundreds of thousands of desires, and absorbed in lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. Hare Krishna.
Their anxieties are immeasurable because there are so many desires. Exactly what we were discussing about Shreyanshi's point, that all these advertising industry is creating desires. This is demoniac nature. Each of the desire leads to anxieties. These anxieties last till the moment of death. If I think of sense gratification, I think about whether I will get it or not. If I get it, then I am thinking whether it will stay with me or not, or how long will it stay with me. All these are anxieties. People don't realize that anxiety comes because of desires and attachments. More desires, stronger desires means greater our anxiety level. People make sense gratification as the highest goal of their life, not realizing that the object they are chasing after is not in their control. There is so much competition for sense gratification. We have discussed this in Bhagavad Gita 5.22, Dukkha Yoni, that this is womb of misery. Wanting to enjoy in the material world is womb of misery. When people make sense gratification as highest goal of their life, then desires become their masters. You can serve Krishna or Maya. There is no third choice. So these thousands of desires are invisible ropes which are pulling and dragging these materialistic people. They are bound by thousands of desires. Unfulfilled karma leads to krodha, and fulfilled karma leads to lobha. both ways, karma is a trap. Unfulfilled karma leads to anger, that whoever stopped me from enjoying, I will destroy that person. Or if I cannot destroy, then the object of enjoyment, nobody should be able to enjoy. Therefore, I will destroy that object of enjoyment. So if karma is fulfilled, it leads to lobha, because I want more and more and more and more and more. Both ways is a trap. Therefore, we have to live a simple life. In essence of time, we will skip reading the purport. It's an important purport. I will explain important points. You read the purport by yourself. Prabhupada explains that thinking that we can prolong our lives by some means for sense gratification is just a fantasy. Till moment of death, one wants to enjoy, and associated with this enjoying mentality, this is anxiety. In Kali Yuga, people have hundreds and thousands and millions of distractions. Just look at your phone. Therefore, everyone is bound by hundreds and thousands and millions of desires. I just explained a few minutes ago about the advertising industry, that every advertisement is a desire producing industry. The evil genius of advertisement is to make people believe that they cannot live without a product, the things that they don't need at all to live to begin with. Meaning, the advertising industry, they create desire for something we don't need at all. Example, they come up with some advertisement on how blonde hair is very attractive with some very attractive model. The advertisement is portrayed in a very aggressive manner that people start thinking, oh, I need to have blonde hair. I cannot live without blonde hair. And this is the way they market the blonde hair products. Are Baba, you don't need blonde hair. It's not mandatory to live with blonde hair. So there are so many needs created by media. Therefore, every advertisement is a desire producing industry. More the desire, more is the pull, and more is the bondage. So more we enjoy, the rope becomes thicker and tighter. Thicker means every enjoyment adds a strand to the rope because the impression goes deeper. And tighter means the rope also becomes tighter. We have lesser and lesser freedom. Example, if you think of an alcoholic. So before may have been drinking, say, once a week or once a while. And then the addiction keeps growing. Now that person cannot live without alcohol every hour. Means the rope that is dragging the person is becoming thicker and tighter. Questions, comments, realizations? Shrivanshi.
Prabhuji, one question I have is like a lot of people like they say that while dying they always think like I wish I had lived my life differently. So I just want to ask like as somebody who is into Krishna consciousness devotee, should we think about what we should have done, what we should not have done, or we should just think of just going to Godhead, no matter whatever our story was?
So Shrivanshi, when you will listen to chapter 8, first class recording, we have discussed this at great length. that whosoever is about to die, whether or not he is a devotee, whether or not he is a materialistic person, does not matter. Just remember Krishna, remember Krishna's words, remember Krishna's beautiful form. Because we just discussed material world is a place of misery. Material world is temporary, it's like a dream. Don't worry about the dream. Because in 8.5 Krishna says, if you remember Krishna at the moment of death, then you will attain Krishna's nature. And then in 8.6 Krishna says, whatever else you will remember, that's what you will attain. So if you remember, oh, I had so and so desire that was left over, well, you will have to come back to the material world to fulfill that desire. Do you want to come back to the material world?
No, Prabhuji, I don't actually I am in a situation where I don't want to do anything of the material world right now.
Yeah, so we don't have to not do anything. So we discussed this in, I think in chapter 3 or chapter 5, one of the chapters we discussed that devotee is neutral both ways. Not worrying to leave the body and not worrying to enjoy the body. Devotee is simply focused on using the body, the senses, all abilities in Krishna's service. That's it. So we cannot sit idle. We just have to do something. Better do devotional service. Shivaji?
One last question, Prabhuji, is that I think it was in 16, I don't know that like whatever work we are doing, that is also kind of austerity that we are uh, devoting to Lord Krishna. I'm just thinking like devotees who don't have to work and who can just do 100% devotion. Isn't that the ideal situation that we are aspiring for?
So you are not the first one to ask this question. I have also asked this question and I have described multiple times that we have a particular varna and a brahmachari or a sannyasi has a particular varna. We have a grahastha varna. And a few minutes ago today also I described about the example of a medicine that the patient in the hospital, he cannot take the medicine of the patient on the next bed. He has to take the medicine for himself. So our varna, our body is our disease and is our medication. Just as I cannot take on the medication of some other person, similarly, I cannot take on the activities of other varna, thinking the other varna is easy. Every varna has their own limitations. And Arjuna also tried this in chapter 3 at the start, where Shivanji, I think you are at that level someplace while you are listening to previous recording. That Arjuna said, I am a Kshatriya, but I will go to the forest and sit and meditate, meaning he wants to become a sannyasi. And Krishna says, your body is made a Kshatriya body. Even if you go to forest, you will end up fighting. You cannot live like a sannyasi. So we have to purify ourselves with the medication given to us. Our body is our disease and our body is our medication. Means our varna. We cannot change. We have to live and purify according to our varna. Shreyanshi and everybody?
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji.
Pratyush 13 to 15 translation.
The demoniac person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man, surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform in sacrifices, I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance.
So last class or couple classes back, Shreyonji had highlighted this point, and I said there's an exact verse. This is that verse about demoniac people. In the Sanskrit of this verse, there's a word manoratham, that imagine the image that mind is compared to a chariot. But if one wants to move reasonably fast and comfortable, maybe not as fast as a horse, then chariot is the best, that someone else is driving the chariot. I have to simply sit behind and travel comfortably. Therefore, manoratham, that I sit on the mind's chariot and just dream. This much dollars I have right now. In future, I will have much more. This is manoratham. When I have killed all enemies, I am the Lord, I am the enjoyer. But Krishna has said in 5.29 that only Krishna is Bhoktaram. He is the controller, he is the enjoyer, he is the Supreme Ishvara. Some may not very explicitly be saying, I am the Lord, but subconsciously they still desire the same way that everyone wants to be number one. When devotees want to do good, idea is not to gain appreciation, rather give recognition to Krishna. Devotees' motive is that I can do the best because of Krishna's mercy. Krishna has given me some talent. I want to use the talent in Krishna's service. I want to give Krishna recognition. So question becomes how we give recognition to Krishna. If we succeed in doing things in Krishna's service, then that will bring attention to Krishna, that this person is a devotee of Krishna. Thus, it will give recognition to Krishna that see, Krishna's devotees are doing so nice. Plus, devotees say that Krishna is the ability. So, therefore, I am able to do whatever Krishna asked me to do. It is Krishna guiding and doing. I am just an instrument in Krishna's hand. This way, we give recognition to Krishna. This way, devotees does not think that I am number one. Rather, I will do my best for Krishna's service. The idea is not that devotee should not excel, but devotee does not want to excel to supersede Krishna. Rather, devotee wants to glorify Krishna. Demoniac, on the other hand, they want to excel for their own glorification and excel in glorifying their own ego. I am wealthy and surrounded by aristocratic people. People generally, they want to move around in glamorous social circles. They want to associate with VIPs and boasting, oh, look, I know this and that person. So one of the characteristics of Krishna is that Krishna is asamurdhva, means no one is equal to him. How can anyone be greater than him if no one is equal to him? But demoniac think, oh, who is better than me? I am the best. I shall give some charity, and this way I will rejoice. Meaning, not only demoniac people want glory of the material world fame, but they also want glory of the religious fame. that people should know, look, I am a good person. This is how they should think of me. Therefore, to get people thinking of me as a good person, I will do some sacrifices, give some charity. This way, I will get reputation. To show I am such a charitable, religious, and noble person, by this I will enjoy. So, for such people, religion becomes a social cosmetic. Now, cosmetic is to look good. Cosmetics is a face transformer to make me look better than what I am. Religion is meant to be heart transformer, not a face transformer. Therefore, the word social cosmetics, that people who use face transformers, is that they use religion just to look good. They do not want to surrender to God. They just want to pretend to be religious or appear to be religious in world's eyes so that they will get praise from the world for such charity or religiosity. Therefore, they think that I will give some charity and I will become famous as a religious person. Therefore, people will give donations and they want their names very prominently displayed. The idea of donation is that we are meant to give our heart to Krishna. But if we cannot give our heart to Krishna, then we should give what is in our heart to Krishna. If our heart is attached to materialistic things, is attached to money, then we give money to Krishna. By giving to Krishna a part of what is in my heart, by this we give Krishna a place in our heart. And Krishna is very intelligent. Slowly, slowly, he will expand his presence in our heart and he will reveal his attractiveness and sweetness. And thus he will attract our whole heart to him. The religious ego can also be very deceptive. Often people build temples. There is also competition to build bigger temples than the other. When the temple, their lordships are there, and people are taking darshan of Krishna, or are they taking darshan of the exhibition of the ego? Oh, look, this marble wall or the marble floor. What exactly are they there to look at? To Krishna or to the marble floor? Religion should be a sanctuary for the soul. Religion should not be a gymnasium for the ego. Gymnasium is a place where people build and exhibit their muscles. So this way people get bewildered by ignorance when they use religion as a gymnasium for their ego. Questions, comments, realizations? So now, last verse for today, Krishna will describe what happens to those people with these mentality. Ankur Prabhu, are you able to read chapter 16, verse number 16 translation?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, verse 16. Thus, perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into her.
The
Hare
perplexed by
Krishna Prabhuji.
numerous anxieties, their consciousness is pulled in many directions. They are dragged. I have to do this, I have to do that. They are bound by network of illusions. They are completely covered over by this network of illusions. When people go into illusion, it is not just one strand, it is a network that traps them. They get completely covered by this trap of illusion. Hence, one cannot perceive spirituality. One who is attached to sense gratification, very strongly attached, because of desire to enjoy sense gratification, they fall away to hell. They are asuchi, means they are unclean. Asuchi was also there in 16.7. And they have numerous anxieties. Material world does not allow us to practice spiritual life because of distractions. Therefore, we have to forcefully put aside these distractions. Ankur Prabhu, you want to read verse 16, paragraph number 2, which starts, each demoniac person thinks.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Each demonic person thinks that he can live at a sacrifice of all others. Generally, a demonic person thinks of himself as the supreme God. And a demonic preacher tells his followers, "Why are you seeking God elsewhere? You are all yourself God. Whatever you like, you can do. Don't believe in God. Throw away God. God is dead." These are the demonic preachings.
So Prabhupada says that each demoniac person thinks he can live at the sacrifice of others. He does not care for others. He just thinks, I want to enjoy. No one else need to be considered. Means others are only factors for my enjoyment. Otherwise, they have no significance of themselves. Questions, comments, realizations?
Hare
So,
Krishna Prabhuji, I have just a little question. As you before mentioned, that some of them um, do some charities and temples, and they just mentioned their name. Um, but how we can call about the VVI culture, which we already saw in this materialistic world everywhere?
which culture you are referring to?
The VVIP culture, like the
Yeah.
most, yeah.
Yeah, so
So right.
that is a materialistic culture. So we'll soon populate in chapter 17 chart that I gave at the start and I will share right now. We will discuss that charity can be in the mode of ignorance, charity can be in the mode of passion, charity can be in the mode of goodness, and charity can be in the mode of transcendence. So we have to come first to the mode of goodness and even transcend goodness and do charity in the mode of transcendence, meaning share spirituality, share Prabhupada books, share prasadam. This is the best charity. Give charity for Krishna and Krishna's devotees. This is the best charity rather than doing any humanitarian activities. It's not going to help you. And when you give charity, don't worry about recognition. Somebody gives you something in return, take it. But don't worry about recognition. And all these other people who are doing charity, they have their name on top of that building that they donated about. Well, you recognize when you see that name, you recognize the discussion we are soon going to have in chapter 17. This way you spiritualize for yourself. Just recently, or any one of you must have visited a hospital someplace, and you will see that they will say that this particular ward is sponsored by so and so and his name is there on a plaque. Okay, he's doing a charity for good cause, but he's wanting recognition with that plaque. Well, that charity can be in the mode of ignorance or mode of passion, probably passion. So when you see that, you remember Bhagavad Gita chapter 17 discussion. So at least you can spiritualize whatever you see, whatever you hear through the Shastra Chakshu. But whosoever is giving the charity for getting the fame and recognition, that person's charity is in the mode of ignorance and mode of passion.
Oh, yeah, Hare Krishna.
Very good. So next class, probably a couple of classes, will start about 15 minutes early so that we can catch on. We are spending a lot of time on practical discussions, nothing wrong with it, but I also want to stay focused on the schedule. So at the start, I shared a couple of documents. I will share again, some of you joined late. So holidays are coming up. So first I'm going to share chapter 17 and chapter 18 shell document. Please print on a tabloid size page. You will realize the benefit of it. And the holidays are coming up. So I'm going to share with you a couple of lectures that you can use. First, I'm going to share Sanskrit and how to take darshan. So I'm sharing it again in the chat download. For the darshan part, I'm also going to share Srimad Bhagavatam 3.28.13 to 33 verses. They will be handy on how to take darshan of the Lord. So download this also. And the last document I'm going to share is a lecture on Ekadashi. So you have a lot of material to keep you occupied during your holidays so that you can spiritualize your holidays instead of going here and there on sightseeing and wasting time. Again, I will post messages for starting early for our couple of classes. So be prepared. We will have a couple of classes early so that we can catch on and get back on track. Everybody downloaded everything?
Prabhuji, I don't see option to download. I don't know if it's only me or...
The rest of you are able to download?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Malti, there should
okay.
be somewhere to download, or you can get it from me offline or from Nima. Either way is okay. That's all right.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Everybody downloaded, so I can stop now. Okay, Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.